So here we are now back with Jamie's hypnosis session. She's just preparing to go under. I'm going to put her under. So welcome to her hypnosis portion. I hope you saw the intake where we got all the information about her life and the questions she wants to ask her higher self under hypnosis and why. And now I'm going to go ahead, pause the recording while I put her under, and then I'll be right back with everyone once she is fully under hypnosis. This yet? What are you seeing? What's going on?
I came down pretty. I came down early.
What do you mean I came down early?
I already saw me in the water.
In
I
what
heard
water?
it's loud in my ears. The noise. I couldn't breathe.
You can't breathe, you said?
We're in the water.
And who's we? You say we're in the water.
All right. Me and Orain.
Who is Harain?
Orain Marble. Orain's his other name.
Okay. And you're both in the water? Are you struggling? Are you suffocating? Are you drowning? Or what's happening in the water?
I couldn't breathe. I was underwater.
And what happens next?
It's like a rowboat. We get in. Old wooden a rowboat.
Okay. You both get in?
Yes.
And there's somebody in the rowboat that came and rescued you? Or what happened?
No. We're just out in the middle of the water. It's the only thing left.
Oh. It's the only thing left of what? Were you on a bigger boat or a ship or something prior to that?
An old ship.
Are there any other survivors or just you and Marble?
There's nothing. The waves are so loud.
But you're able to get into the rowboat?
Yes.
And how do you feel once you're able to get into the rowboat? Or what do you see when you look around you?
I can't see. I'm in it. Scared.
You feel scared?
I
And if
look
you,
scared.
oh, okay. And if you follow that scene forward, do you end up finding land or what happens to you on that rowboat?
It's a long time. We get to an island. This looks weird.
That's okay. Just tell me what you see.
Like he's scruffy and long hair on his face, and his hair is long,
Okay.
like he blonde.
Okay.
This is weird.
It's okay. We don't need to judge it. Just tell me what you're seeing. So his hair is long and blonde, you said?
This it it looks like 1700s.
Oh,
Look at
okay.
the clothes. They're
Okay.
just like loose white cream.
Okay.
We look like pirates. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be a girl.
So do you feel female or do you feel male?
I feel like a guy.
Okay, that's fine. And do you feel healthy or do you feel unhealthy?
I feel weak.
Oh, okay. And so you and Marble are both males in this life?
Yeah,
Okay. And you feel like you're pirates?
I feel like we shouldn't do what we do. And that's why we're stuck in nowhere. I feel like I'm looking at that life and I say, I'm here because I kept doing, just sitting on the beach looking out, wishing
Wishing what?
someone would come.
Mm. So is it a deserted island? Is there anyone else on the island or it's just the two of you?
Just us. I see wood washed up from the ship. I'm just sitting there.
And you said you're kind of regretting the way that you're living?
It's too late now.
Okay, let's do this. Let's go ahead and leave that scene. Let's stay in that life, but let's leave that scene and let's move forward, whether it's days, weeks, months, years, hours. But let's move forward to a time where something memorable or important is happening. So, a day that you consider to be important when something is happening. And we've now moved forward to an important day. What is happening? What do you see?
Fancy dress people. We have fancy cups, lots of jewels, necklaces. things around the neck, big clothes. I'm in a party. I have on a wig.
Does it feel like a happy time then if it's a party?
Yeah, I
And
don't feel rain.
oh, you don't see him?
No, I don't feel him.
And does this feel like a time after you had been on the island, or did you maybe go to a time before you were on the island?
Before,
Oh, okay. Okay. And who are these people at this party to you? Is it family? Is it friends? Who do they feel like they are to you?
investors,
Oh, okay.
business, they're not friends. That's how I met him. He's like me.
What do you mean he's like me? What does that mean?
He's not them. We just workers. Everyone else is just pretending.
They're just pretending? Pretending what?
Pret- They seem like they're nice, but they're not. They're money hungry. Just like it's it's when someone just keeps eating and eating and they're full, but they just want more and more, and it still doesn't satisfy them. It's like they are with money.
And so you're there to try to get investors for something that you're doing, or why are you there if you're not them?
They need me to do their dirty work,
So pirating?
but that's not what they call it. They don't use that word.
But is that what they mean?
Yes,
Ah, is that how they get all their money and their wealth? Is stealing like that? Hiring people to steal?
yes. Somewhere off of Florida.
Okay.
It's where the wreck happened.
That's where they what?
It's where the ship crashed.
Oh, okay.
That's why the sand is so white.
All right, so let's leave that scene now. And you can either move forward or backward in another important day. So, a day where you consider something memorable or important to be happening. So, we've now moved to another memorable or important day. What is happening? What do you see?
Like a baby being born. Everyone's yelling around, happy. It's a boy.
You know who the boy is or whose boy it is?
No, I don't.
Do you seem excited also? Are you excited with the birth?
I I don't care.
Mm, you're kind of neutral.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's leave that scene. And how about if we move forward from there to another important or memorable day in that lifetime? So, a day where you consider something important to be happening. And we've now moved forward to an important day. What is happening and what do you see?
Slide. You can see a wedding dress and white flowers. It's in the 50s. My hair, it's puffed on top and comes down. A curl, brown. I'm skinny, too skinny.
So, you're female in this life.
Yeah,
So, do you feel healthy or do you feel unhealthy?
malnourished.
Oh, okay. Is that from a lack of food, or is it something you've done to yourself, or how do you feel like you came to be malnourished?
Controlled. I control it.
So it's not from a lack of food?
I do it.
Uh, and you have a wedding dress on, there's white flowers, it's in the 50s, your hair is puffed on top and comes down to a curl, it's brown, you're skinny. Do you see a groom anywhere?
His hair is jet black and pushed back. Real tall, big shoulders. It's so different.
What do you mean it's so different?
he, he, he's so white.
And what color is he wearing? Is he wearing like a suit or what is he wearing and what color is it?
A white shirt, black, black, black shoes, black tie, long, long tie, not a bow tie.
And how do you feel about this man that you're going to marry here?
Looks good.
Okay. You love him?
I'm happy.
Do you know how he feels about you?
He's looking at me happy.
Are there others there at your wedding?
They don't matter.
They don't matter, but are there other people there? You just don't really notice them much.
I feel for girls behind me.
Oh, okay.
I'm just enjoying looking at his eyes.
At his eyes?
Yeah,
What about his eyes?
still dark. Just looking at me like he can see inside me.
Okay, so let's go ahead and leave that scene and let's stay in that life. But let's move forward to a memorable or important day in that lifetime. So, a day that you consider to be important when something is happening. And we've now moved forward to an important day. What is happening and what do you see?
I'm driving, I'm sitting in a military truck. Oh, I was a nurse.
Okay.
He's driving. We're leaving the city and it's going out to like country, flat with some hills, mountains. My hair is blowing in the wind. I look over at him and smile.
Does he smile back?
His right hand is on the wheel and he looks over at me and smiles. We made it.
You made it where? I'm sorry, where did you make it?
Yes, we made it alive. I hear bombs dropping. Things are blowing up. It's just like the waves. All this loud noise.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's leave that scene and let's move forward in that life to another important day. So, a day that you consider to be important when something is happening. So, we've now moved forward to an important day. What is happening and what do you see?
I'm too dizzy from like the bombs and this noise. Feel disoriented. The smoke you can't see. He reaches for my hand. I can't even walk.
Do you feel like you're injured? Is that why? Or what's going on? Why can't you walk?
I'm too weak.
So, does that mean that the bombs are now closer to you than they were maybe even a little bit ago?
It went off.
I'm sorry?
It went off right in our building.
Oh,
I feel like I can't. I feel like I can't stand up and stand up. I can't hear. Some ringing in my ear.
and what about your husband? Does he appear to be injured at all?
This is before the marriage.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I can't tell if he's a medic. He doesn't have a gun. Yeah, he does. I don't think we're American. I don't understand why.
You don't understand why what?
It's like I'm punishing myself by not eating.
Mm.
I don't get why. Because I can control it.
Okay, let's leave that scene now and let's move forward to one more important day. So, a day that you consider to be important when something is happening. And we've now moved forward to an important day. What is happening and what do you see?
A gold point.
A gold point? Is that what you
Keep
said?
looking up at this. It's a peak. It's gold. Just staring up at it. I don't get this. I have long dark hair. It's not my hair. I'm a man. I have tattoos.
And do you feel strong and healthy or do you feel weak?
I'm healthy. I'm fit.
And do you feel young, old, kind of in the middle?
In in my 30s.
And what are you wearing on your feet and your legs and your top?
I'm outside. I don't have a shirt on. I do, but it's not a shirt. And I can only see my back. My arms are showing. It's like a long white robe, but not white. Cream. People stand behind me and carry it.
So do you feel like you are important?
Yes, I am.
Maybe some sort of like royalty?
No, not that word.
Are you a ruler of some sort?
Yes,
Okay. And do you feel like you're a ruler that is good to the people around you? Do you take advantage of the people around you? Are you greedy with the people around you? Like, how do you feel you treat the people around you, the people that you rule over?
it's different. People I come in close to every day. I'm nice. But the people I don't see, it doesn't matter.
Mm. You mean you don't really care about the people that you don't see every day?
Yes. Mm.
And how do you feel about this life? Do you like this life? Are you happy? Are you content? Are you not content?
I see someone in a gutter drinking water. He's got red jewels, but he's poor and he's drinking from the street gutter. And I feel something has to change. It's the first time I see the other half living.
Mm. And it touches your heart.
Yes, something inside feels it feels sorrow. Oh, I am a woman. I'm not a man. This is confusing.
What's confusing?
I thought it was a man.
Mm. That's okay. The images can change as you start to see more. That's fine. So, how about if we go to the place where you live? Let's go to the place where you live, where you sleep, where you eat, the place you call home, and let's stand outside of it. So, moving to the place that you call home in that lifetime and looking at it from the outside, describe it for me. What does your home look like?
You walk out, there's water, a river. It's the river. It's like the cattails. You gotta go through the cattails before you can get in the water. And there's lilies. You see people in their boats, long, skinny boats. And they're just, the river's taking them by current. They're going south. Everyone's happy.
And so, what about if you turn around and face your house? What does it look like when you turn around and look at it? Can you describe your house for me or where you live?
Grand. It's the same on both sides. In the middle comes down a long covered hallway, and that brings you to the water. It's opened with columns and some steps take you down to the water.
It sounds like you really enjoy the water in front of your house. Is that right?
Yes.
What's one of your favorite memories of the water or being by the water? Does anything stand out in your mind?
When it's flat, when the water is not moving, it's just calm. And you see a frog pop its head up, or a turtle pop its head up, and then it quick goes back in. It's nice. This water is kind of green, not blue. There's a lot of plants in it. Because my spot, it's narrow. That's why you can see so many people, is it's the only deep part of the narrow part that they can go and not get caught when the water is low. So everyone is so close. When I'm standing out there, everyone waves. You know this. This 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 is the Nile.
Mm.
The city moves,
And what do
but
you
I don't
mean?
want to move.
What do you mean the city moves?
Everyone moves. I'm almost last man standing. I don't want to leave.
Do you know why they're moving?
Wow. Some of them don't want to, but they have to. The capital is moving.
And how are the people dressed that you see around you?
Everyone's got big clothes on, like like loose loose robe. Like I don't even know what they are. Mine's the only pretty one. It's the only clean one.
Mhm. Do you clean it yourself or does someone else clean it for you?
Someone else.
Do you have people that work for you in your house?
Yes. I just sit and look pretty. I don't know how I have money.
So do you live with your parents or other
No.
family?
I'm alone now.
Okay.
I don't I don't have kids. I have this headpiece. It's a gold something, and it comes down to the point, middle of my forehead as a V, and it goes under part of my hair. I don't know, like a crown, but not.
Is it like a status symbol, do you think?
Yes, but I don't know what it means. I'm important. I don't know what this means.
Okay. So let's do this. Let's move to the last day of your life in that lifetime. So the day in your life just before you take your last breath. That could be weeks, months, days, years later. But whenever that is, just before you take your last breath in that lifetime. And
Someone stabbed me in the stomach facing me, and
oh,
then somebody hit me in the head from behind. I don't even know who they are. I can
know
feel
why
it.
they did it? Did you say you feel it?
I feel it.
So on your right side by your stomach?
Yeah, but it comes out like my side.
Ah,
This like long dagger. This is weird.
so what are you thinking there? I'm guessing you're laying on the ground now just before you die after you've been stabbed and hit in the head. What are you thinking or feeling as this is happening?
I should have moved when they told me to,
Mm,
but I didn't listen. I don't want to leave my house. It's my house.
So now let's go to the moment just after your spirit has left your body. So you've already taken your last breath and you're looking down at the scene of you laying there.
I'm on the steps.
Oh, you're on the steps. Okay. What else? Do you
They
see the
pulled
people
it.
who killed you?
They pulled the dagger out and just threw it on the ground next to me. I can hear that ding. I'm laying there. My eyes are open. and they walk up the hallway to my house. One of them is dark, like his aura.
Okay.
He's evil. And the other one, he's fresh. I stood there with it in my stomach, and he was holding me up. And then the dark one slammed my head with, I don't know what it is. It's like not a rock. It's not from Earth. I don't know what it.
Mm. Do either one of them feel familiar to you at all, like anyone you've known from this lifetime, or does the energy feel like no one you know in this lifetime?
The dark guy,
Hmm.
he travels around and not even on this Earth. He comes up in other places. Is Zenith a planet?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Zenith?
Zenith? Not sure.
Yeah.
That's the name coming to mind.
Yes. He feels like that's where he comes and goes the most. That's why what he hit me with didn't feel normal. It's not from Earth. And he took it with him when he left. It's like he can walk in this. People think they're spacecrafts all the time. It's not. He like walks in this door frame and then goes to the other place. It's not a it's not a spacecraft.
It's almost like a portal
Yes, it's not far from my house.
from that house near the river.
Yeah, it's on the same property. There's big statues that there's four of them, large carvings, and in the middle of the two on each side, it looks like a doorway to take you inside, but there's no door to go inside. It's just like a push out. That's where he comes from. I see him just popping out of there because I've seen him before. I know who he is.
So is he someone that you see often in your lives? Does he feel like?
He's around. Yes. Ew. It is Richie. It is Richie.
And who's Richie?
It is such man.
Oh,
That's who it is. That's him. I can see him. He's not human. He's not human. Now I know. I never felt like a connection. And I just thought it was because I didn't love him. He's not human. I don't know what that is. I just keep seeing him come out of the portal. It's like nothing, and then all of a sudden it almost like a hologram.
And so you mentioned Zenith. So it feels like he may be coming from Zenith.
Yes, that feels like home for him. I need to leave that alone.
Yeah, let's do that. So after your spirit left your body and you were there looking down at the body, where do you go next or what do you do? What does your spirit do?
I hang out. I come to the white light.
Aha, how do you get to the white light?
I just woke up and was there.
Okay.
People I know were greeting me. They greet you.
And how does that feel? Does it feel good?
I feel like a baby again.
Why
Like
a baby?
it's all new.
Oh, okay. And
They're
what's so funny?
like, now it's time. It's like I have to sit down and do school.
Ah,
I'm going through old books. And I have like a wooden ruler to guide me with the words.
and what's inside these books?
Well, some of them are fat, but then there's scrolls. I don't know how to read those right now. I don't know how to read what's in the book.
Mm.
I don't know what that is.
Does it feel like it has anything to do with the life or lives that you've lived on Earth, or does it feel completely different?
That's what that is.
Oh, okay. What is it?
Yeah, I'm reading everything that I just went through.
Oh, is anyone there with you when you're reading through it?
No, but it's like a giant, like old, you're at the record hall.
Ah,
Yeah, but
and
I'm doing it on my own right now.
okay. So what are you thinking or feeling as you're going through and looking at the life that you just lived?
This one that I just died.
Right.
Well, at least I realized when I was wrong and tried to make right. Greed is really starting to take over, just like how it is now.
When you say greed is starting to take over, do you mean with people or do you mean with you?
People,
Oh, okay.
nobody's connected.
And you feel like they should be more connected?
Um, that's not how you say it. I don't know how to say it. They're out of touch with reality, and their reality is not right. Their perceptions of how happiness is wrong. Oh,
What else is going through your mind as you look at this book?
uh, there's nothing you could do. It was already written.
Mm.
You're, this is too much. It's too big.
So after you're done, however long that takes to look through that book, what do you do next?
We're at a meeting.
And who's we?
Phil, I don't know who Phil is. I don't know that name.
Is it maybe
He
a
just,
guide or someone?
oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. But other people,
And other people are there too?
well, they're not there now, but they're there then.
Oh, okay. So now is it just you and Phil?
When we're at the meeting,
Okay. And what's
when
happening
we're,
at the meeting?
my family is there,
Oh, okay.
but no one is there now. Marble's up there, hand on his, on his, hand on his chin, eyes. His eyebrows keep raising up, and he's smiling over at me. Mm,
So what do you think you might be doing at this meeting? Is it planning for another life or what
well,
do you?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
sorry.
So planning for another life and families there and marbles there.
I
And
feel like I'm here and there.
ah,
I know I'm here, but I'm there. This is weird.
hmm. And
The
so
whole thing is white.
the whole thing is white. Okay. And does it feel like it was a planning session for the life that you're currently living or for a different life?
Almost like we're gossiping about what just happened.
Ah. When you say what just happened, do you mean what happened in this life or in the life where you were killed on the steps?
It's like everything from before and everything now and then later. It's all right now.
Hmm.
It's all moving. It's moving so fast, but not moving at all. But everything is there. It's just all there.
So is it almost the realization that there's no such thing as time and that everything is happening simultaneously? Or is that not it?
There is no such thing as time. Time just traps us here on Earth, but it doesn't really exist
And you feel
because
that?
because while we're here, this is the physical, but that is not the same as this is here. We do have an expiration date here. It used to be long, and now it's short, and pretty soon it's not going to be the same. You see, the reign of humans, how you and I see me and you, it's going to be over soon.
So what's coming after the reign of humans on Earth?
Planet Earth has to regrow. There will still be people here. They'll fade out. And it's not the same as people that are going to be here later on. They don't look like you and me.
What do they look like?
I don't know. I don't know. It's just not us. This is weird. I don't know. But Earth turns green again.
And what about the land masses? Do they look the same as what they look like now, or are they completely different, the land and the water?
I can just see green,
Mm.
like the trees take back over. That's all you need to know.
Okay. Okay, I want to go ahead and drift away from that scene and looking at Earth and how it turns green again, and moving away from the planning session where you were with Phil and with Marble up in the spirit. I want to move away from all of that. Let's drift and float away from that scene. And let's leave all those individuals there to continue on their own journey, knowing that they'll find peace, knowing that they'll find what they're supposed to find. We're leaving them there to continue on their own journey, finding peace, leaving them there to continue on their own path. And now I want all of the consciousness and personality of Jamie to once again return and fully integrate back into her body completely. And may I speak to Jamie's higher self, please?
Okay.
Do I have permission to speak to Jamie's higher self?
Yeah.
I respect the power of her higher self because I know the higher self takes care of Jamie's body and does a very good job of it. And I also know that her higher self has the records of everything that has ever happened to her in this lifetime and all other lifetimes that she has ever lived. So I respect the power of her higher self, and I always ask for permission to ask questions of her higher self. Do I have permission to ask questions?
Okay.
I know her higher self could have brought forth many different lives for her to see today. And the last life where she was killed on the steps, why did you choose to bring that life forward for her to see today?
You got to be more specific.
So the life that where she was killed on the steps, what was the purpose in showing her that life? Is there a message for her and how it might be related to this life, or information in there that is going to help her here and now? Or was it just to show her a different experience her soul has had?
I think I have intestine problems.
Have what problems?
My intestines
Oh,
inside.
is it because she was stabbed there?
Yes. Is
Ah,
it still scarred over? Something's wrong with it. I have something wrong inside.
mm. So going back and talking to her higher self now, asking her higher self, are you able to heal the wounds or the scarring that is still remaining as a result of being stabbed in her stomach in that lifetime?
No,
How come that can't be healed?
I don't. Something specific.
What can Jamie do if anything, to bring healing to that and resolve that issue that's left over from that previous life?
Uh, I'm not ready.
She's not ready to have it healed?
Correct.
Okay. Is there anything else you can tell us about it? Like why was she killed there? Was that something that was pre-planned in that lifetime? And if so, why was it planned? Is it hurting now?
Yes.
Has it ever hurt there before today?
No. This is weird.
So what, let's connect to the higher self and draw on the higher self now and putting the conscious mind aside, setting the conscious mind to the side of the stage and just allowing the higher self to come through and answer the questions and not have the conscious mind trying to figure it out. So just connecting to the higher self and asking the higher self, the one who was there witnessing this life, who was there part of that life and all the other lives that Jamie's ever lived, tapping into that higher consciousness and asking, what is it
Yes.
that, okay,
I was indulging too much in riches of life that don't matter. And when I realized those aren't important, I had already hurt enough people in my quest. This other person, I hurt his family. I made them poor. He had nothing else.
and so it was him taking revenge.
Yes, yes.
And so what lesson was Jamie meant to learn from that about not being in greed or something else?
Material things don't matter. Happiness inside. The golden rule.
So what does Jamie need to do to be healed from the scarring from that lifetime? Or are you able to heal it as her higher self?
Continue to do good. Treat others how you want to be treated.
And will that resolve it within her?
It is. It is.
So is that why she feels like there's a humanitarian aspect to the life that she's currently living?
It is.
And what about the life as the pirate? Why did you show her that life? Like, what was the message or the purpose or the lesson in that life?
The same greed, but this time somebody else's greed controlled me, and I didn't stand up for what was right from wrong.
And when she was a pirate in that lifetime, was that Marble, the man who's her husband in this current lifetime, was that him as a pirate buddy in that lifetime?
Yes,
Okay.
he pulled me up. I could have died, and he pulled me up.
So do her and Marble have a lot of a lot of lives that they've experienced together?
Yes.
And we'll talk about him a little bit more in a little bit, but I want to um, ask, did she learn the lesson from that lifetime as she had time to sit there and reflect on that island? Did she learn the lesson about greed?
This is the last lifetime.
What do you mean this is the last lifetime?
This is it on Earth.
The current life that she's living?
Yes.
And why is it her last? Why is it her last lifetime on Earth?
All lessons are done.
Okay. So she just has that one thing left to resolve from that other life by continuing to do good and treat others how she wants to be treated in order to resolve that pain in her intestine or her stomach.
Yes.
Okay.
Too much cruel has taken over.
I'm sorry, too much what has taken over?
Too many people are cruel now.
Oh. And what about the life that you showed her of the woman who was in the wedding dress and getting married, and then they were in a military truck, and then she found herself being surrounded by bombs and she was feeling disoriented. She couldn't hear, there was ringing in her ears. And she mentioned that she was punishing herself by not eating. What was going on in that lifetime?
No, because that's the best lifetime.
How was it the best one?
The favorite.
Ah, why is it the favorite?
That's why there's such a strong connection with World War II.
Ah. Was that life a life she lived in the United States or some other country?
Overseas,
Okay. And was
a
that,
lot of traveling.
oh, a lot of traveling. Was that also with Marble?
Yeah.
And the ringing in the ears, is that something that's still, because she said she still has a lot of ringing in her ears to this day. Is that something that's a result from that life or is it not related?
Both.
So what was the lesson that she came to learn in that lifetime?
Hmm. You never know what tomorrow will bring. So live today the best you can. It's simple.
So, are you able to heal the ringing in her ears that she experiences today and resolve anything left over from that life?
Wow. Some of it.
Okay. Could you do that now for her, please? And show her what it looks like as you do it and tell us what you're doing as you do it?
This is weird.
Okay, tell me what's happening.
It's like a white cloth is being dripped all over my body.
Mm,
I don't understand.
you don't have to understand. Tell me what else happens.
This is weird. There's people around me.
And who do they feel like?
I can't see their face. I don't know.
Who do they feel like?
Angels.
Mm,
They're all white. They're talking to me, but they're not talking to me. They're like sending messages in my head.
mm. What are the messages?
I'm sheltered from harm.
What else? Anything else?
I have to let go of that. It was before. It doesn't need to be now. I don't have to be scared. This is weird. I don't get this.
But you feel like they're giving you healing?
Yeah, but part of the ringing is them.
Oh, okay.
That's both. Because I'm ready to come over. I'm done here. I've reached a different level. So I'm just preparing myself for the afterlife. They talk on a high frequency. That's what the ringing is. That's what that is. This, this is something. This is something. I'm done.
Okay. So you feel like you got some healing in your ears?
Yes.
And what about Jamie's eyes? She has slight vision impairment and she wants to have perfect vision. Are you able, as her higher self or angels or healing team, are you able to heal her eyes and bring about perfect vision to her?
Um, I don't think they can. I still have to have some cloudy judgment.
Oh,
If I saw everything, would be seeing everything. I still have to. It's like if I have this physical where things are partially cloudy because I'm go- because I'm supposed to live old, and you can't live too old if you're not learning. I still have to learn some things, but my old. I'm done with the tough stuff, if you will. It's nothing to worry about, anyways.
So would that be similar to anyone else who has vision issues? It's because it's giving them some cloudiness. So as almost
No,
like a physical representation. It's not
not everyone.
okay. But that's how it is in your case.
Yes.
Okay.
And there's no need to get surgery because it won't work anyways.
Mm. So is this something that Jamie kind of put in place for herself or pre-planned as part of her path or her blueprint?
I have to have a check. Yes. Something has to keep me in check. I'm answering the questions.
And when you say I'm answering the questions, what does that mean?
Jamie,
Okay.
I'm taking over.
Okay. And so are you getting the answers from your higher self or your spirit team, or how does that feel? How does that process look?
I already know the answers now.
Oh, okay. So let me ask you this one. Do you have any issues in your body on any level that you came here in this lifetime to heal left over from any other past lives, other than that stabbing side pain? Is there anything else?
I don't know that answer.
Okay. Does your higher self know the answer to that question? Are you able to give the microphone to your higher self for any questions that you don't know the answer to, like this one? Does Jamie have any issues in her body on any level that she came here in this lifetime to heal that's left over from any other past lives?
Physically, no.
Mentally or emotionally, does she?
No.
Okay.
She knows what she has to do.
How many times has she incarnated on Earth?
Earth,
Yes.
49.
Okay. Is there such a thing as a twin planet of Earth or any sort of parallel universes that are Earth or would be considered to be like Earth that she's incarnated on?
Other planets.
Okay. What's her favorite planet to incarnate on?
Earth,
How come?
most challenging.
What makes Earth so challenging?
You have entities from all over trying to work together. A lot of different things working at once, and it doesn't always work out.
So it's kind of like almost like there's the element of surprise.
Yes, you can plan all you want, but some things just happen. But even then, it's in the grand design.
The grand design, who is the one that made the grand design?
A collective.
So does that mean it can always be changing and moving and fluid if the collective is the one designing everything?
Eh, say it differently.
I'm sorry?
Say that differently. I don't understand.
So does that mean that like now, I understand that the collective consciousness could go many different directions for the outcome of what will happen on Earth right now on Earth's what's going on Earth. So is that what keeps everything changing and flowing is just kind of the energy and the mood, so to speak, of the collective consciousness?
Absolutely.
Okay. Does Jamie have any resentments or fears from any other lives that she's lived that may be impacting her now?
Pretty fearless. One might take it as a downfall.
Hmm. Is it a downfall for her to be so fearless?
Part of the fearless is the lack of the boundaries that
Hmm.
she puts on other people because you just go in and think things. Jamie always thinks everyone has good intentions.
But they don't always have good intentions. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
But if we're all sparks of creator, sparks of God, and God is love, how do some people not have good intentions?
The easiest way to put it is you got to learn. It's all learning.
So would you say that the individuals walking around on earth without good intentions who do evil, they haven't learned yet, and they're therefore are they younger souls?
Some people are down here, and with every good, there is some darkness. With every darkness, there is good.
Is
If
that,
everything was,
I'm sorry,
if
go ahead.
everything was good all the time,
Uh-huh.
where's the learning to be done?
Mm. So everything is working together to help us all have a learning experience.
Yes. And if you want to label it as bad, evil, then those are the words you're putting on it. Uh, It's just an energy. always being it's always being transformed. It's never the same.
Does Jamie have any talents or abilities that she has from other lives that she could draw upon and develop easily in this lifetime?
Her own intuition that gets covered up.
How can she keep it uncovered?
Keep the mind clear. There's no need to sit and dwell on things that have happened and can't be changed. You can't live in the past all the time. You can't keep wondering what if. It stops you from creating the future.
Mm. Is that why people in the spiritual circle say to live in the present moment?
What spiritual circle?
Well, people who are interested in enlightenment and bettering themselves, they say, like Eckhart Tolle teaches a lot on living in the present moment. Is that the best way to live so that you can keep your mind clear?
Yes. People forget you don't have to talk, though.
What do you mean by that?
There's ways to have conversations without moving your mouth. Um, People are more connected than what they think they are.
Mm.
Right.
Are you able, as her higher self, her spirit team, are you able to upgrade Jamie's frequency now so that it can be at the highest frequency possible during the rest of this session?
Repeat.
Are you able to upgrade Jamie's energetic frequency now so that she can be at the highest frequency possible during the rest of this time that we're together, this session?
Okay.
Could you upgrade her frequency now to the highest frequency possible for her to be in and show her what that looks like as you're doing it and describe it?
It's like opposite of Plinko, zigzagging but going upwards. Bling, bling. Like a big beam of light coming out. This is weird.
Does Jamie keep jumping back in and saying this is weird?
You know that.
So setting Jamie aside and her judgments and her interpretations and her labels, are we able to continue on speaking to her higher self and just have Jamie observe the rest of the session?
All we can do is try.
Okay, wonderful. Does Jamie hold any trauma on any level as a result of her sister's death, her sister's, whether it be suicide or whether it was accidental? Does she hold any trauma as a result of that?
Just the just trying to protect the parents who were once kids.
And how is she holding trauma, or what do you mean by just trying to protect the parents who were once kids?
You always try to shelter your kids from harm. See, they're adults now, but they were once her kids. Like you don't tell little kids everything.
Mm. Because Jamie gets choked up when she still talks about and thinks about her sister. So that made me wonder if she was still holding grief or trauma or sadness in her body at all, or if there were any trapped emotions in her. Are there?
It's probably the lack of communication,
What do you mean by lack of communication?
not being able to tell the parents everything.
Everything about what?
The death and afterwards. It's
Oh,
protection. She gets choked up because she doesn't want to talk about it. It's not time yet.
oh, okay. So are you able as her higher self to send healing, love, and light to Jamie's heart around this whole issue?
Yes,
Could you do that now, please, and show her what that looks like and tell us what you're doing as you do it?
just sheltering the body, holding the heart, cupping it, transmitting energy, love, peace, happiness, joy. Okay.
Thank you for that. And are you able to also tell her if her sister has any messages for her?
I'm not getting any.
Okay. Are you able to tell her what happened to the bag of jewelry that had her jewelry, her husband's jewelry, and her sister's jewelry in it?
I'm searching. I don't know where it's at.
Is that Jamie that doesn't know where it's at, or is it her higher self that doesn't know where it's at?
Me.
Jamie?
Yeah.
And what about if Jamie steps to the side and sits down in a nice cozy chair on the side and we call forth her higher self to come back and take the microphone and take center stage. And connecting now to Jamie's higher self, her higher consciousness, and asking her higher self, are you able to tell her what happened to the bag of jewelry that had Jamie's jewelry, her husband's jewelry, and her sister's jewelry in it?
Not now.
Why not?
It will turn up.
Oh, and is it something she's supposed to wait on? Is that why you can't tell her now?
It will present itself.
Okay. And Jamie asking her higher self, where did all this serious energy come from when she met her husband, Marble? She really feels that they had other lives together, and you've shown us other lives they've had together, but where did all this serious energy come from?
A soul level.
And you said they have had many lives together, is that right?
23.
Oh, okay. Are they soulmates or from the same soul family?
Yes.
Okay. Was it pre-planned before they came here? Asking Jamie's higher self, was it pre-planned that her husband Marble would pass away after they had been together for just over 2 years?
Yes.
Why did they plan it to happen that way?
So she can survive without him.
And why did she want to be able to survive without him? What lesson or what purpose was in that?
Not the question. She can still count on herself.
Mm. And not have to look at someone outside of her, but she could depend on herself.
Yes.
Is she holding in her body or on any level pain and trauma around his death? And if so, are you able to pull that from her?
It's a lot.
So what about the angels that were there earlier? Are they able to help with this process along with Jamie's higher self and aid in pulling the trauma surrounding his death from her? And if so, tell me what that looks like.
It's just grabbing and flying up and leaving what's behind and flying away from it. It was supposed to happen. And you see, she's strong. Just let go and let be. One more. Okay.
Mm. So the way you described it, it's grabbing up and flying and just leaving what is behind and flying away from it. It sounds so simple and so easy. So why do we as humans complicate it and constantly carry the pain and the suffering around with us?
We live in it.
And what do you mean by we live in it?
Surrounding yourself. It's planet Earth is surrounded in it. You can't necessarily escape it. No matter how strong you are, you still have some part of it around you. It's just a lot on Earth.
So if Jamie starts to feel sad or heavy at the thought of her husband's death, what is something that she can do to try to ease that or pull that out of her body?
They're simple. Replace those thoughts with the positive times. If you want to sit back and feel sad about a time that happened, then you have just enough time to sit back and think about the positive times that happened too. There needs to be a replacement of what you are thinking of. You have to rewire the brain. You can't keep the same connections.
So it's being able to control our thoughts in that way or grab them when they start to go there.
Your emotions, thoughts, feelings become your reality. When you are thinking or feeling something that you perceive as negative, your reality becomes that. You must believe in order to see. It works the same for good or bad thoughts.
So why was her husband Marble cheating and sleeping around with other women? She found out after he had died that he had been doing that. Why did he do that?
As he puts it, cultural, lifestyle, and nurturing all added up to not realizing the damage it can play to affect somebody else.
So does Marble, her husband, does he have any messages that he would want to share with her today?
If he had a strong father in his life, he would have behaved differently. That's why he's not in her life now, because a stronger man will come along and do the right job.
So it was a way for her to be able to move on and grow herself by him exiting her life like that?
So the baby can have a stronger life.
Mm. So was it planned for him to almost like sacrifice himself for his child like that?
Yes,
And does he also receive growth and or enlightenment by having done that?
yes, he broke the cycle.
Mm. Would it be in Jamie's best and highest good to pursue a relationship with Marble's mother? Should she try to mend that relationship or just leave it alone?
She should not pursue it.
And why is that?
She wasn't in the wrong, so she doesn't need to apologize for anything. She's owed an apology. And there's no more sweeping things under the rug. You can't continuously let somebody continue to do wrong to you and not apologize because they haven't learned their lesson. And until she apologizes, she will just continue to do it again and again to her.
So would this be an instance where not having this woman in her life would be Jamie setting a boundary?
Yes,
And you mentioned that's one of the lessons she came here to learn is how to set boundaries.
yes.
And what about should she pursue getting the money back for having spent money making an addition on the side of her mother-in-law's house? Should she continue to build it or just let it go?
Let it be. Eventually, it will get finished.
Are you able, as Jamie's higher self, are you able to tell her what really happened regarding her husband's car accident? If there was foul play involved in her husband's accident, or if it was truly an accident?
Oh, his brother was driving. His friend is covering it up.
So was it
What's
an
done is
accident?
done.
I'm sorry?
What's done is done.
So did the brother get in an accident on purpose, or was it an accident that his brother crashed?
An accident, which is why the friend is covering it up because it was an accident.
And why is he covering it up though? To spare everyone's feelings and to not get in trouble for it?
He's bad. He took the wallet.
Oh, okay. So after her husband died, that was one of my questions, is what happened to the husband's wallet with the money in it? The brother took it?
It's leverage.
What do you
The
mean
brother
leverage?
can't the brother can't say anything about the wallet being missing because the brother knows the friend took it. The friend's not going to say the brother was driving the same way. They each have blackmail on one another.
So the friend has the wallet,
Had.
or had, and the money.
Yeah, it's all gone now.
Okay. So was there an insurance claim that was ever paid out to the guy who held the title to the car that the brother was driving?
Yes.
Did the guy who had the title to the car, did he play any part in the accident or not?
No. Just a lot of suspicion onto him to cloud judgment on what really happened.
So is Jamie's life or safety at risk if she continues to dig around into what happened regarding her husband's death?
No.
What should happen to her husband's, well, the daughter? He thought he had several kids, a 16-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And after he died, Jamie came to find out that the 16-year-old and the 9-year-old were not biologically his, even though his mother has been raising them. Um, and the 9-year-old has given them a lot of grief and a lot of problems. What should they do with the 9-year-old daughter, Barry? Should Jamie just allow her mother-in-law to continue to raise this 9-year-old, or should she be involved at all, not be involved?
The mother in law will learn.
The mother-in-law will learn what?
Eventually, Barry will go back to her mother's.
Okay.
It's a lesson for the mother in law.
So why did her husband choose to incarnate with this 9-year-old girl that caused him so many problems?
Hmm. Parenting do's and don'ts.
Jamie wanted to ask her higher self if she fully trusts herself or if there's healing that could occur in this regard.
It's been healed already.
And I'm sorry, I wanted to go back to talking about Marble briefly. I forgot a couple of things. Does he have any messages for her now that you, as her higher self, could relay to her?
I got it.
What do you mean, I got it? You got the message?
Yes.
Okay. What was Marble's favorite lifetime that they've shared together?
This. Unconditional love.
What is Jamie's favorite lifetime that they've shared together?
Europe.
During World War II?
Yeah, a lot of traveling.
Was Jamie ever famous in any of her past lives?
We went over it.
Oh, it was that one where she was that woman who ended up being killed on the steps?
Not famous, but well known in the community.
Okay. Jamie had a relationship with a man she calls such man who ended up stealing a number of things from her after she ended their relationship, like a chainsaw, a weed whacker, a washing machine, and some money that he used to buy a car. Should she pursue him legally for the property that he stole, or should she just leave it alone?
Someone else is going to pursue it.
So, what was the lesson for her in having a relationship with such man? Or what was the purpose?
Know your boundaries. Know your limitations. And know yourself.
Is Jamie learning this lesson, or does she still have more to learn with regard to setting her boundaries and enforcing them?
Minor. The big ones are over.
Is that the main lesson she came to here to learn, or is that one of the minor lessons she came here to learn? enforcing boundaries.
Oh no, that's minor.
What are the other lessons that she came here to learn?
She already knows.
Are you able to tell me what they are so she can see it in writing and listen to it on the recording, or is it not important to put it in writing?
Not important.
Okay.
She knows.
So asking her higher self for advice, she started seeing a new guy and she wants to believe that this will be a healthier relationship than the past ones, but will it?
It is.
Is there any awareness you as her higher self could give her going into this relationship that could help her navigate it better so she can go in with her eyes wide open?
This is one to listen to. Do more listening, less talking, and take time.
Take time for what?
No, no jumping to conclusions right away.
Oh, okay.
This isn't one like the other ones.
So he's a lot different than the other guys.
Yes,
Is this the man that's going to be the good role model and example for her daughter?
yes.
So she wants to move back to Jamaica and has plans to go back to Jamaica, a place that she just feels constantly called to, and where she's been living back and forth with her husband. That's where she met him and lived with him. But what is the best path for her career-wise in Jamaica with regard to her own business? She feels like she wants multiple streams of income coming in. What can you tell her about this?
If it feels right, do it. This is trusting your intuition. It, if it doesn't feel right, don't. Simple.
Are there any specific examples of businesses that you could tell her would be successful and good ventures for her to engage in?
Mm. Food, entertainment, and household goods.
Okay. Is Jamie's soul balanced in terms of masculine and feminine energies, or is there balancing that could occur for her best and highest good?
This is the one to finish the balance. That's why it seems like a struggle because it's conflicting all the time. This is the balance.
Are you, as her higher self, able to do anything to kickstart or boost that balancing process between the masculine and feminine energies in her?
Eh, It's slowing down. It's learning not to do things off impulse. And that's where she can find the balance.
Mm.
Learning not to do things off impulse. The impulse comes from the intensity from one side, whether it be anger or emotions, feminine, masculine. That's where the impulses come from. It's slowing down, taking time before you process and react. Let it digest first. That's why Jamaica.
That's why Jamaica, you said?
Yeah, everything is so slow. And when you have somebody of a high frequency, they find their balance in an area that has a low frequency. A lot of islands. A lot of islands. You've got the water surrounding them, and that brings a calmness.
Does water act like a calming agent in many people?
Yes,
Is that why things like jacuzzis and hot tubs and Epsom salt, relaxing baths seem to bring such calmness to people too?
yes, but not so much the jacuzzis. You don't need to be in such hot water.
Mm. So would that also be good advice for her to get into the water, or just being around the water will be enough to keep her calm when she starts to feel like she's maybe off balance or being impulsive or something like that? Would that be an idea for her to just calm down and take a bath or something like that, or get in the water?
Both.
Mm.
Drinking. Drinking's the quickest.
Drinking water.
You have to project your thoughts onto the water.
What do you mean?
You have to believe the water is doing the good for you when you're drinking it. You have to you have to think positive thoughts while you drink the water. Same as if you sit in it because you're surrounded now by it. But that's a larger amount. It requires more thought. What you swallow and your thoughts into what you swallow are close to equal amounts. That's why it's easier.
Jamie is a habitual scab picker and wants to heal this habit. Are you able to heal her from it? And why does she have that habit?
It's just an addiction, like anything you like. If you like it, you do it. Everything is an addiction that you like.
She doesn't want to have that desire to do that anymore. Are you able to pull her addiction to that or her desire to pick scabs? Are you able to pull that from her?
If she doesn't want to have the desire to pick scabs, she must want to have the desire to leave the scabs alone.
Are you able to give her the desire to leave her scabs alone?
She has to want that enough for herself.
I'm sorry, say it again.
She has to want that enough for herself.
And she doesn't.
Time will tell.
So would it be her setting the intention that I desire, or I set the intention to leave my scabs alone?
That's how you say it, yes.
And then once she does that, what would be a good thing for her to do next? Just quickly move on to something else so she's not thinking about it anymore? Or what would be, would she need to distract herself? Or how would that work?
Mm, if you distract yourself, sometimes the next distraction could be worse. It has to be a healthy one. Hmm. If not,
How about something like every time she has a desire to pick a scab, she says, I have set the intention and desire to leave my scabs alone, and then just pulls out an affirmation book or starts saying affirmations every time she has that desire. Would that be a healthy distraction?
okay, yes.
It'd be like a trigger.
It's, mm, it's at the point where the brain needs rewired.
So are you, as her higher self, is her higher self able to rewire the brain this way?
You have to, yes.
Could you do that rewiring for her and pull that desire, rewire it so she doesn't have that desire anymore, and show her what that looks like and tell us what you're doing as you do it?
Breaking it like two magnets to break the connection. And then you replace it with a different magnet. Both have new ones. But it's like a string. So when the thought of scab picking comes, thoughts unrelated to scabs have to be transmitted. Yes.
Or could she do something like purposely setting the intention to grab a drink of water and say affirmations or speak into her water, positive thoughts, and then drink those positive thoughts?
We can add that.
Okay, could you do that now, please, and show her what that looks like?
Simple. Yes.
So Jamie has had weight issues. She's used laxatives and her weight has been up and down, and she feels overweight and wants to have a healthy weight and healthier eating habits. Why does she have these issues with food? Is it anything left over from a past life? Is it from this life? What's causing that?
Oh, it's a lot of garbage eating. Most food, if it doesn't come from your backyard, the land you live on, if you didn't nurture it while it was growing, odds are it's not healthy for you.
So, what can she do to make the food healthier that she eats?
Consuming less until she consume more natural.
Is that something that she should do when she moves back down to Jamaica? Is look at growing her own food and having a garden?
That's why she's healthier there.
Oh, so the food is healthier down there?
For the most part, you don't have pesticides on everything, for one. For two, it's grown naturally. Also, you can grow year round there. You will never run out of food. Certain parts of the world, you can't grow food year round. And that's why people are real unhealthy, because simple. You live in a part, it's wintertime. You should not be consuming anything that hasn't been grown in your environment. That's why honey is so important to the immune system. Local honey, those workers are going all around to all those plants in your environment.
So what can she do to start eating healthier and not binge and then make herself throw up? And I mean, are you able to rewire her brain or give her some sort of like pulling whatever positive result she thinks she gets from that and replace it instead with a healthier definition of a healthier relationship with food?
Mm. Mm, okay.
Did you do that?
Yes.
So, on a practical level, on an everyday, this is Jamie walking around the earth type thing, what should she be doing to help with her food issues? You said eating healthier food, but is there anything else? You said eating less.
Avoiding,
I'm sorry?
avoiding, avoid the processed food, avoid meat, avoid the milks. Those are bad, honestly. Those are bad for her digestion. And this means cheese.
Okay. Anything else?
Yes. Making your own food.
Anything else?
It's a lot of setting the intent before when you prepare the food and then when you consume the food. You have to have a clean mind, stay positive, trust that what you're eating is healthy and for the better good for the body. When you're eating something and you know it's garbage, when you keep saying, this is garbage, I shouldn't eat this, I shouldn't eat this, well, it's simple. Stop eating it.
Jamie is a heavy dreamer with lots of dreams and visions, and she has deja vu often and feels like she has visitation sometimes while she's sleeping. Like when her husband came to her in a visitation or dream the day she was going to go into labor a week early. What can you tell her about this?
Wow, this is weird.
Hmm.
There was a lot of lights flashing. Uh, everyone's here. Just a bunch of people around me.
Okay. Asking your higher self now, who is everyone that's around Jamie right now?
Angels, spirit guides.
And what is the message about her dreams and visitations that I just asked since they came when I asked that question?
She's ready,
Ready for what?
connecting to the spirit world. Again, it's listening. All she has to do is listen.
So since she's able to connect with her higher self during this session, is it possible for you as her higher self to make that, like, let's just say, a familiar pathway for her brain to engage in so she can feel and sense this connection with her higher self and her spirit team and her angels frequently and regularly after this session going forward?
Yes,
Could you do that? Could you do that now as her higher self? Could you open that pathway and make, let's just say, a clear road for that to happen easily?
yes.
Could you show her what that looks like as you're doing it and tell us what you're doing as you do it?
Wow, this is weird.
What's happening?
I'm in a 1947 car
Okay.
driving. It was a road with a bunch of like trees crowded, and you bust through it, and it's wide open and nothing but white, and all these loud noises ringing. This is weird.
Spirit likes to show us visual images to make a mess, to give us messages. Isn't that cool?
Like I'm touching, but not touching. I don't know what this is. I feel my hands, my palms being touched, and my forehead being rubbed, but I don't see any hands touching me. Down the back of my neck and down my spine. Ugh. Oh, this is weird. Hi. Okay.
If Jamie, talking to her higher self now, if Jamie takes all of the information that she's learned here in this session today and incorporates it into her life, how will her life be different compared to what it would have been like had she not done this session? How is it going to be different?
It will be, you can't answer that question because I always was supposed to do this.
Oh, was this part of her pre-birth plan?
Yeah,
So how did Jamie and I meet and agree to have this done or do this at this time?
I was calling for it to come.
And so how did I hear that call?
It's time for you to progress.
And what do you mean by progress? Progress how?
You have a calling. This. There's some people that are not progressing, and there's people in this world that it's their time to progress. You know the ones.
And so it's time for me to keep going forward and doing this. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So, as Jamie's higher self, just wondering if you have any other messages for her before we end the session today.
There's a few more things left to explore.
Okay, tell me what that is.
To more efficiently connect to the other side on a higher vibration. This doesn't make sense.
So, does that mean that you, as her higher self, are able to give her some sort of download to help her more efficiently connect to the other side on a higher vibration? Are you able to give her a download so she can connect to the other side on a higher vibration or upgrade
In
her?
time.
Oh, okay. So, what other messages do you have for her before we end this session? Anything?
Not now.
Okay. So, are we good to end this session, or is there anything else you wanted to share about anything we've
Okay.
talked about?
Okay to end.
Okay. Over. Okay, and I just pulled you out, and I want to get your initial reactions to everything you just experienced.
Ah, ah, oh.
You're definitely grounding yourself back here. What'd you think of that?
That was weird. That was
Yeah, you kept saying that. You're like, this is weird. This is weird.
I could like it was like I could feel it was like I knew what was going on at some points and other points like and sometimes it felt like I was actually there and other times I was observing. Hmm. I feel I remember everything we talked about though. So how long was that?
I look at here, you were under just under 3 hours.
It didn't feel that long.
Now, when we do this, I honestly believe and feel, because it doesn't feel like that long for me either. Like I feel that we take everything and just go completely outside of time and space. Like we're
Yeah.
doing this someplace like outside of the earth concept of time because it does not feel like 3 hours. Absolutely.
No. I'm like still looking at the clock amazed. That didn't feel like it was 3 hours.
Right. Right.
Huh.
To me, it feels like it was maybe 20, 25 minutes, something like that, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You got a lot of great information. I highlighted some things. Let me go back and look and see what I had. The former lives that you had, that was interesting about such man. You said he's a dark guy. He travels around and not even on Earth. He comes up in other places. Zenith is
Um,
the planet name that's coming to mind. That's where he comes and goes the most. That's why he hit you with what didn't feel normal. It's not from Earth, and then he took it with him when he left. That was interesting.
yeah. Um, I I remember talking about that, and I thought to myself, hold on, let me grab my other clip. Now thinking about it, I don't really know like what he is.
I'm sorry, you said you don't know what he is? Is that what you said?
I don't, that's not human.
He
He's
wasn't
not
human.
human.
Yeah. Wow, that was interesting. Yeah, super interesting. Never had a story like that. I've seen lives on other planets, but never where they've intersected like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where someone's come through like a portal, or you said it looked like a hologram where he came through.
Yes. Yes. That's got to be somewhere in Egypt. That's somewhere in Egypt.
Yeah, that's what I was feeling. I was trying to get you to describe a little bit more because in my mind, because I try to go where you are, and in my
Yeah.
mind, I felt like that life was also like in Egypt. And I was thinking even almost like in the days of, the biblical days when they talk about how Moses was put down the river in the little basket. And I was
Yeah.
seeing the river behind you going,
Yeah.
oh, that's interesting. He was put on the Nile, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. I
Um,
wish.
I'm sorry.
Have you had people gone through and like tell you their names in those lives? Have they given you the actual dates?
People haven't given me actual dates, and names. Very rarely do I get names. Yeah, we just focus on like events and
Yeah.
things that have happened. Yeah. So you said Earth is your favorite planet because a lot of different things working at once and it doesn't always work out. There's always an element of surprise. You can plan all you want, but some things just happen. But even then, it's in the grand design. The collective conscious makes the grand design. It keeps
Yes.
everything changing and moving. I thought that was really interesting. And then I asked what talents and abilities you have had in other lives that you can draw upon in this lifetime. And the answer was your own intuition that gets covered up. Keep the mind clear to keep it uncovered. There's no need to sit and dwell on things that have happened and can't be changed. You can't live in the past all the time and wonder what if. It stops you from creating the future. Live in the present moment,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
What else did I highlight? If you feel sad in the future, replace those sad. I was talking about your husband Marvel that died.
Uh-huh.
If you feel
Yeah.
sad in the future, replace those sad thoughts with positive times. If you want to feel sad about a time that happened, then you have enough time to sit there and think about the positive times too. So it's retraining your mind and replacing the thoughts, the sad ones with good ones.
Yeah.
You have to rewire the brain. You can't keep the same connections. Your emotions, thoughts, feelings become your reality. When you're thinking or feeling something you perceive as negative, your reality becomes that.
I don't remember saying these things though. I thought I remembered most of it, but as you're saying these things, I don't remember saying those.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
That's common. It's common, by the way.
Okay.
So you're the second group. You were kind of, your consciousness was coming and going. So you remember the things that your conscious mind was there, but when your conscious mind wasn't there, you don't remember saying these things.
Okay.
And I could tell
Yeah.
when your higher self was coming through because I had to keep saying, well, let's talk to the higher self now because Jamie kept wanting to come in and talk. Oh, I know everything now. I can see everything. But then I asked a question and Jamie couldn't answer it. So I said, well, let's call in the higher self. So I did, and the tone just changed right away.
Yeah.
So that was your higher self. And here's the message from Marble. If he had a strong father in his life, he would have behaved differently. And that's why he's not in your life now, because a stronger man will come along and do the right job. The purpose is so your baby can have a stronger life. It was planned for him to sacrifice himself for his child in this way. He broke the cycle by doing this. Like that's a high level perspective. Like how in the world could you have known that had you not done a session like this? Like who would even think of that perspective, right? Like that's just amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, so incredibly noble, right?
And it's funny that that was said, not funny, but there was this one time where I was like really upset about something he had done. And he, in un-Jamaican fashion, because they don't really apologize, he was like, especially with him and his gangster mentality, he broke down in a sense and apologized for being such an asshole because he didn't have a comfortable upbringing like I did. And there was never, his dad was around, but was basically a few yards over helping another woman raise the kids. And he had his mother. His mother had his mother had had his sister when the mom was 15 and then had him at 16. So they were all kind of growing up together in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And then the fact that you learned, according to your higher self, what really happened with your husband and how he died. Do you remember that?
I don't know what to do with that information.
Right. And maybe that explains why the brother was acting so nice to you, right?
It explains a lot of things. I just need to leave his brother and friend alone.
Yeah, that's what your higher self said, to just let it go.
Oh,
Yeah, what happened happened. Let it go. I mean, if you think about it, that's something they've got to live with, right? I mean,
yeah.
that's got to be really heavy for them too. And it's done. Like investigating it or going into it or pursuing anything about it is not going to, it's not going to change anything, right? It's not going to bring him back.
Yeah.
And that's the way he chose to go out anyway, right? He chose to go out that way to do this for you and the baby. That noble, noble thing that he did. Like, that's pretty amazing, you know? And his brother and him had an agreement for it to happen that way. What are you going to do? That was
Yeah.
their plan and what they decided together, right? Water, that's why you like Jamaica, because it's a very calming agent for you. It brings you balance with the masculine and feminine energies. And then
Yeah.
your higher self said, water acts as a calming agent in many people. You don't need to be in hot water like a jacuzzi, though. Take a bath or get in the water when you feel impulsive. Drinking water is the quickest way to get calm. You have to project your thoughts onto the water. You have to believe the water is doing good for you when you're drinking it. You have to think positive thoughts while you drink the water, same as if you sit in it because you're surrounded by it now, but you need a larger amount of energy to focus positive thoughts into the water if you're sitting in it. It requires more thought. But you swallow and your thoughts are being swallowed in equal amounts, so it's easier. So a lot of times I forget, but I like to charge my water and I charge it with
Yeah.
positive and light and energy and
Mhm.
health and then every time you drink it, you're drinking that. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Lots of information I'll let you read here. I have 9 pages of notes for you that I was typing as you were going through, talking about the scab picking. Plus, you'll have this recording. A lot of things talking about your weight, of what you need to be doing with regard to your weight, eating homegrown foods, staying away from milk, meat, processed foods. Consume less until you can consume more natural foods. So it's better to consume way fewer and not just have something in your belly than it is to consume more natural foods. That's really the message I got out of that. Um, you were always supposed to do this session. It was part of your pre-birth plan. You were calling for this session to come. I heard the call because it's time for me to progress. Um, and any other message? The message was to more efficiently connect to the other side and being on a higher vibration. This will happen in time, when you're given this download. I asked if your higher self could give you the download to help you more efficiently connect to the other side. And we did that earlier. Like I asked your higher self to create a pathway for it to be more natural, I guess, and easier for you to connect with talking to your spirit team and your higher self. And your higher self did that, but then talked later about more efficiently connecting to the other side on a higher vibration. So just know, of course, you can talk to your higher self at any time because it's you, it's your higher consciousness.
I think possibly because of my dreams and things like that, and how I told you about like Marble came to me in the dream or in my sleep, I'll say, because it's not a dream.
Mhm.
I've had like instances where my sister has and stuff as well. I think that perhaps, not saying like a psychic or mediumship, but those would be like titles to use for those things. And I think that I definitely have that um gift inside of me that I just suppress.
Yeah. 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 I mean, because that when I asked earlier, what are some gifts and abilities she has from other lives she can tap into now? And it was your intuitive abilities, which is the
Okay.
same thing as your psychic
Yeah.
abilities, basically, right?
Yeah.
So, and then your higher self had no more messages. But again, I do have um, 9 and 1/8 pages
Yeah.
of notes for you, and some of them are about other lives. And then let me put 5:38 p.m. I
I
put
remember.
down, I'm sorry?
Go on.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I remember being there for those lives part. That was towards the beginning, yes.
That was the beginning.
Okay. The one I find most interesting, or the one that I would like to discover more about in the future, is the one where we were in the military or overseas during the war. I really do have a huge obsession with World War II, and more specifically the concentration camps and things that went down in Germany. So I feel that that is perhaps why mm, maybe that life came up, or maybe why now I'm so like drawn to that.
hmm Right. Yeah, that would be an interesting one to explore further. And the one about you being a pirate, that was pretty cool. Kind of remember?
Yeah, I do. I feel like I was shipwrecked.
Yeah, you got shipwrecked.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that one's with Marble, same way. That's honestly, I know he had to have been in so many of my lifetimes there helping and supporting me, because that's exactly how he treated me in Jamaica. He did everything for me. Oy, I don't know.
Let me
I'm just
see.
like trying to think, because I can feel like looking at him and looking like that sailor one we're talking about, or pirate one, whatever you call it. He just looks so gross because it was like dirty and this long dreaded hair with big facial hair, like, but I remember more of the like royalty part of it. It was almost like we were, I guess you would call them aristocrats or whatever. Yeah, wearing these like white curly wigs and having big robes with like lavish lifestyle behavior. I don't know, sometime between like, judging by the clothes, anywhere from like the mid 1400s to like early 1700s, before the slave trade really was like, I was so probably early 1400s, I would say, because when we
Mm,
were like on the ship or inhabiting the islands, like there was nothing in regards to slaves or anything like that.
right. Yeah, interesting. Those few lives that you got to look at. So, are you glad you did it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm like glad to, I can't wait to see like the video of it.
Yeah. And the good thing is you got some, it seems like you got some clarity on a lot of questions you have, like what happened to Marble's wallet after he died in the car accident.
It
And
makes so much sense though.
yeah. Yeah, and
Wow.
it makes sense for you saying everyone was saying that he was driving the car, but yet the blood was on the passenger side. Like, how did that happen? That answered your question there, right?
Hmm. Because he wasn't driving.
Right. Yeah.
Life.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to end the video here. Thank
Yeah.
everyone who watched, and thank you for letting us put this on YouTube because this was a really awesome hypnosis session experience, and you're glad you did it. Got some
Yeah.
answers.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so I'll go ahead and end it here, and then we'll just chat a little bit offline after I end the video here.
Okay.